we've got loads of time now. So, basics of the gun. If you get on it.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. So this is Howitzer 101 with Nicholas.
Yeah, so you're completely new to Howitzer?
Yeah, mate, never touched it.
Okay, great. We'll go through the whole lot then. Pointy, it's where the boom comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Just get on it, roll up to it with your scroll wheel, and then get in as gunner. Okay, and now you scroll wheel to change view or open gun, I think it is. Something like that. Open M119.
Oh, 1 second, mate. I've got get out of view M1. I've got get out of view M137, M187.
That's the one. Last one. Now you should
right,
have a
okay.
Now you should have a menu to your left.
Yes, I do.
Now, a whole bunch of numbers. Basically, the important ones are deflection and elevation.
Yep.
Deflection is the angle it's pointed at in mils. You're familiar with mils?
No. Give me the schooling.
Mils are a different way of measuring degrees. Degrees, you only have 360 in a circle, and of mils you have 6,400, which means you can be a lot more accurate with mils than you can with degrees.
Ah, right, okay.
And they're even on your compass as well. If you were to open your compass when you're off the gun, you'll see that behind the regular degrees there's some small numbers which are actually the mils.
Ah.
So we're not going to do much with the compass because it's, pretty much guesswork when you're firing a few thousand clicks and you're using only your compass, so that's what the computer's for. But with smaller mortars you would be using your compass. Anyway, so deflection is in mils, and then the elevation is in meters. And the elevation is going to be the highest point of the arc, of the shell. So it's going to go up another 1.1 clicks from here, I think it's set to at the moment.
Okay.
Then you have the bubble, which is just a bunch of dashes with a 0 in the center, you can see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
It should be leveled right in the center at the moment. Is it? The bubble's right in the middle?
Yes, it is, mate.
Okay, and now if you could use the arrow keys up and down, just mess around with that a bit, and you'll see the bubble goes off.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Okay, so that's how you set the bubble. What you do first when you get on the gun is you set the deflection. You'll get out and point the gun in a general direction. Then you'll get on. Hey there. Then you'll get on and then set the deflection with more accuracy. And then you'll set the elevation.
Hello again, Nick.
Hey there. I'm just giving quick.
I got shot down rather unceremoniously.
I saw that actually. I saw you disappear off the map suddenly. I thought that's not good.
Yeah, no, we got shot down before we even made it to the AO.
Yeah, nice one. You were pretty close to the AO though.
Here goes attempt 2.
And what you'll then be doing is if you can click up and down, so you got L plus, L minus, and def plus, def minus for the increasing, but that only does it in points of 1. If you want to increase it into points of 10, then you hold shift and click.
Right.
And if you hold control shift click, it goes with hundreds.
Right.
So if you've got to quickly adjust the elevation from 0 to 2000s, then you're not going to be clicking singles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. If you change view, the button change view, now you're looking down the scope. And the scope is pointing at what's called the colorimeter over here. My arse is in front of it at the moment.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I do my crunches. Anyway, if you look down into the end of the colorimeter, then you'll see some numbers on the little screen there.
Yeah,
I think it's 75 and 80 at the moment. Now the point of getting it aimed up properly is you get the numbers on your crosshairs of the scope. You can see numbers on the crosshair.
Yep.
You got to get those lined up with the numbers in the colorimeter.
So where's this kilometer?
It's the little tube you're looking into. Are you looking down the scope?
I'm looking down the main scope, yeah.
Okay, so there should be a tube. You're looking straight into like a little LED screen.
No, I'm just looking down the scope.
You can see me now?
No.
You can't see me now?
I can see a load of grass. I'm looking down the main scope, it looks like.
Looks like we might have moved off target a bit then. You could use your left and right keys to move the scope around a little and see if you can find the colorimeter. It's going to look like a small... You're going to be looking at like a round tube, a round disc.
Oh yeah, it's on my left.
There you go. Okay, keep moving to your left and you'll see some numbers in that tube.
Yeah, I've got 75 and 80.
Okay, if you look at your crosshairs, you'll also have a 70 and an 80 there. What you want to do is line up the 75 and the 80 of your crosshairs with the 75 and 80 on the colorimeter.
Oh, okay, one sec.
Again, you can move it in large amounts with shift and small degrees with just the arrows.
Okay, that's all done.
Okay, and that's your gun setup if that's the deflection and the elevation you needed. Step 1 of course would be to put it in the computer first. So
Right,
we can go and check out the computer. Get off the gun. You gotta escape out of the little menu and then scroll wheel off the gun.
Sweet.
Okay, if you need to, now say suddenly we'd have a fire mission all the way to the south, then you can get here, scroll wheel it, and then shift left and right, just to move it in large amounts, so it's pointing the general direction before you do the fine tuning with the scope.
Right, okay, mate.
The thing you were looking at is the colorimeter, is the little scope here.
So what's that actually there for?
It's
You said, is
to,
that...
to take care of the parallax, and what the parallax means is the gun is set up to a certain heading, and normally it's directly south, which is 3,200 mils. Now, when you move the gun around on the rotational axis down here, the scope is not dead center of the axis, so the scope actually moves a certain degrees off the axis, which means that it's inaccurate.
Right, okay.
So it's not in the same place all the time. And what this thing does is it tells the scope how much it's moved.
Ah, right. Makes
And then
perfect
you
sense.
set the scope again. You basically calibrate
That's why
the
you're
scope.
always lining it back up to the 1875.
Exactly.
Ah, cool.
And you can also do it with sight sticks. You can see 2 sight sticks in the field over there at 50 and 100 meters. You can also do it with sight sticks, but it's a little bit more complex, and I've never actually effectively done it yet. I really should try. I've done it with mortars, but I haven't done it with the howitzer. And I'm not going to go into that because I might be bullshitting if I tell you something wrong. Yeah, I think I've got it down, I've just never proven it yet, so I don't want to...
Yeah, wait till you prove it first.
Exactly, I don't want to tell fibs here. The vehicle has the computer in it, so we'll get in. Now you scroll wheel to the use Alpha November / Golf Yankee Kilo -37.
Oh, yep. Oh, this looks good.
There you go. On the left hand side you've got the gun information. I've already put in the grid and the altitude. You'll always have to check that because it needs that to compute. On the right top side you'd have the...
Oh, 1 second, I'm on battery computer screen, battery information.
Yep, that's fine.
Oh, is
The
that
battery is the howitzer battery.
Ah,
It's
okay.
the artillery battery, not a electrical battery. So on the right side of that screen it'll show the FO information, which is the forward observer. And on the bottom right it'll have something about the target.
No, the right hand side of the screen's empty. It's all black.
It's still got an open fire mission. Press close mission. Does it have a closed mission at the bottom?
It does not, mate. It's got back adjust, FFE, open map, and then we've got cycle and open on the right hand side for acre controls.
Just go back. Click back.
Oh, okay, yep.
There you go. That should be the begin page now.
Oh,
Do
1
you have
second,
the...
it's opened my map for some reason. Yeah, okay, mate, I'm on that screen.
Okay, so on the left side you've got the information of the gun. And top right you have the information of the FO, so you could put in his position and the direction he's looking at, stuff like that. It starts to get a little detailed there because what you could do with that information is if he stays in the same position and he's got a vector.
Oh, one sec, Nick. Are we on the right screen here? I've got a mission grid reference on the left and method of engagement on the right.
Do you have an option to go back again?
Yeah, just done so.
Go ahead.
Oh, here we go. Got battery name, observer information, known points. Yeah, I've got observer information on the right now.
Roger. So you're at the beginning screen now? Sorry,
I am,
lose
mate.
radio. Okay, great. And again, now you do definitely have the gun information on the left, FO on the top right, and target at the bottom right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, basically this is just your information screen. This is not actually what the gun's going to compute with, although it will compute with its own position, just not with the target at the bottom right. The idea of that is that you can select multiple targets from the bottom right. Once you've made basically a chapter, you can always go back to that one by selecting it at the bottom right. So you could put in a new name if you want to. If you open that little scroll down menu, it'll have Radio Tower 1 in there. If you open Radio Tower 1,
Oh, 1 second. On my screen, I've got observer information, and then below that, I've got known points on the right. Is that the correct screen?
yes, that is the correct screen.
Okay, so are we talking the add update button?
Just above that, you'll have a new target, I believe it's called. There's, I think it's purple text which says new target, correct?
New known point, that's right.
There you go. If you click down that drop down menu.
It's the only option I've got.
Ah, okay, so it's, oh yeah, I remember what happened. I disconnected and reconnected. Excellent. Does it have the information of the gun on the left? Is the coordinate and the altitude still filled in for the gun?
Grid sorry, direction of fire as well.
Okay, so that's the most important, but I've also got to look for that again. Okay, so we'll just make a new firing mission then. I'll pick a grid. If you just add a new known point, or whatever it's called, and fill in grid, I don't know, let's go for the center of town, just to cause lots of chaos.
Carnage.
1335.
Yep.
0617.
Okay.
Altitude 6.
Yep.
And I think that's all it's asking from you. Just add point update.
Okay, that's updated.
And then go to grid on the left.
Okay, now on grid.
Okay, so now you're in the chapter for this target. Now you put in the grid. You can repeat the grid again, because that's the grid it's actually going to calculate with. The grid was 1335 0617.
Okay.
Altitude was 6.
6.
And below that I think you have the dimensions of the target and the type of target.
Yep.
I'd leave those open. I'd only put those in if there's like a radio tower or something.
Right.
It's just nice to know, really. It's not going to change anything.
So anything
right.
I put in here, you guys can all see. It's not for anyone else bar us.
Yeah, we're the only one who... Yeah, exactly. If you were to get out and I was to open a computer, I'd see what you put in there.
Ah, fantastic.
So, say something was happened to me or I was to drop out and you had to re-engage the target, then it would all still be in there.
Cool.
And you could check my fire mission, for instance. So, on the right hand side, it's all about the munition. If you can read me from top right, what's going on?
Top right, I've got method of engagement.
Okay.
And then it says danger close, no yes.
Nope. Danger close is within 600 meters.
Okay. So, no notes then. We've got ammunition now.
There we go. That's where it gets fun. Now, default it has HE point detonation. HE is high explosive point detonation, which means it explodes on impact. What we'd normally use HE for is if we're attacking hard targets, so tanks, BMPs, stuff like that. It's going to have lots of kinetic force. It's going to come down like a real proper bomb and blow anything up that gets in the way. What you'd normally do if you want to just get an area effect target is click that and hit DPICM.
DPICM.
DPICM is a type of shell which will explode at a pre-designed time above the ground. You can see under that it says fuse delay, I think, or fuse.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, well that's the fuse at which time it'll explode above the ground. If you were to put the fuse time at, I normally put at 0.5, which is 0.5 seconds before impact on the ground. That thing will open up and it'll cause a huge scatter of debris and really ugly stuff.
Okay.
That's a technical term. The actual 0.5 is only information in here. It's not actually going to adjust the shell for you. We'll do that when we prepare the shell. Below that you can say how many rounds you're going to fire.
Yeah, I can see that.
So let's say we're going to fire 5 rounds, and then we leave the rest all at what it is. I think it says 1, 1, and 10 or something like that. Now you can click fire for effect, and it'll start calculating on the bottom screen.
Okay, it says error round count is invalid.
Roger, Alex. Sorry, what did you say?
It says error round count is invalid. So what?
Could you set the round count to 5 on the right hand side of the screen? It wants to know how many rounds you're going to fire.
Fair enough. I think one of the things you need to do on this is change your push to talk, because it always populates. So for adjusting round count, what do we want that as?
I think it's just a default 1, isn't it? And if it's not, just leave it open. It only wants to know how many rounds. It's not ringing a bell, so try clicking fire effect this time.
Yeah, just done it. It's got target grid is invalid. So if I've done that in the wrong format, I've put 1335 then space 0617.
Yeah, you don't need to put space in. Leave the space
okay.
out.
Okay, generating now.
What it's going to do is it's going to come up with different options. So we have anything between 0 or 8 charges that we can put on the shell, which will make it fly faster with more force. And you'd use different types of charges for different types of methods of firing. So say we're in quite hilly terrain at the moment, you'd want it to go quite high, so you'd be using the high charge solutions, so it has a bigger arc.
Right, okay.
If you just want it to get there really quickly, you'd use lower charges and send it, at a more flat path. Let me know when it's done.
Last message for valid firing solutions found for 105. And it just says ejecting DPICM.
Okay. You have the next and previous buttons there.
That's right.
What we're going to look for is we're going to look for a quadrant, which is the elevation of around 1,000 meters. And for this map, that's a perfect elevation. You get over all the hills and you get there within a reasonable amount of time. And effectiveness. So I'd click next, 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 and so you see the quadrant number, which is probably about 1,000 to 1,100.
Yeah, 1147.
There you go. Now all the information on that top line is what you're going to need. You're going to need the deflection, quadrant, the charge, and the time of flight, which is indicated as TOF, or fuse.
Okay.
You need to write all of those down, or you could call them up and I'll write them down, either way.
Okay, so you need 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And then we've got 10001, and the TOF is 79.1.
79.1, okay. What's the deflection?
I'm not sure it shows you deflection.
We're going to need the deflection.
Oh, there it is, it's at the top. 2078.
2078, yeah, I only used the top line for information actually.
Okay.
So 2078 deflection, the quadrant.
Yeah, 1147.
1147, and the fuse time was, or the time of flight was 79.1. Roger. Okay, so we can get out and start prepping around. You can just escape, leave the computer on, and get out the vehicle. I dump my gun as well. Now you have 3 ammo boxes here. They're pretty much like a TARDIS, small boxes, but I think there's about 5,000 rounds in each. On the left we have the DPICM, which is the ones we're going to use.
Yep.
In the middle we have HE, which is the high explosive point impact. And on the right we have the Illume rounds. No, sorry, they're smoke rounds. Yeah, smoke rounds. So you can put down a huge, nice big smoke screen.
Okay.
We're going to use the DPICMs. If you ace interact on the box, it says prep arty rounds. You can see there at the top that it's a 105mm base ejecting DPICM.
That's okay.
Which is what we want. We were going to use a charge 8, I believe it was. I forgot to write that down, but I'm almost sure it's a charge 8. Yeah. So it's already current charge 8, and you could add charge, well, 8 is the most, but you could also lower it. Sometimes you use charge 7 as well. But I think yours was calculated for charge 8. Let me run over to the truck and check.
That's quite a nifty screen.
Okay, charge 8. So you can leave the charge as it is,
Okay.
and you have to set the fuse time. Well, the time of flight was 79.1 seconds,
That's right.
but we wanted it to blow up half a second before. So if we set that to 78.6,
Yep.
and then prep round, top right, it'll take a few seconds, and there you go. If you look behind us now, we have a prepped round.
Let's come out of this menu, it's okay.
Yours is not prepped yet for some reason. Ah, no it is, there you go. You can come out the menu, look behind you, and it's on the ground.
Ah,
Now we're going
cool.
to set up the gun, so you can jump on the gun. What I do first is always check the compass to make sure you're pointing the general the right direction. Well, in this case we are, because I've done that already. Now, we have to go into the numbers again. Deflection was 2078, so you can change the deflection.
Ah, 1 second.
Yeah, take your time.
Control shift the ship to go by 100, was it?
You probably don't need to go by 100 though. 2078 for deflection.
No, that's right, I'm just getting familiar with it, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise I'll be way off.
Sorry about that.
That's alright, man. Okay, buddy.
Okay, the elevation is 1147, which was the quadrant on the computer.
Yep.
Once you've set that, you can make sure it's level, the bubble.
It's slightly to the left, so how do we do that adjustment?
That's pressing down on the arrow keys.
Oh
Pop it
yeah.
up a bit.
So dead center, yep.
Yep, dead center.
Cool.
Once you've done that, change the view,
Yep.
and then you line up the collimeter to the crosshair with the numbers.
Okay, mate.
Okay. If you get off, I'll give them a quick check. Make sure I'm not going to hit any friendlies. Not that I don't trust you, just
No, mate,
instructor's
please
duty. 2078, elevation 1147, bubbles dead on, and the collimeter is almost perfect. One little click to the left. There we go. Now we're going to load the gun.
Okay.
Load the gun, you ace interactive shell, which we've already prepped. Hit carry. Point to the gun. You don't have to be right next to it. You can just stand at about a good 2 meters distance.
Okay.
Point at it, and then ace interact the gun and load gun. Go for it. Gun is loaded. Now you can get on the gun as gunner. All call signs. This is Howitzer. We're going to start a fire mission on the south of Solnichny town. Any friendlies in the area? Ah, shit. I'm going to go on channel 5. Stand by.
Okay, so get
Roger.
to
We're doing
shoot this
one
bad
quick
boy.
practice shot and then we'll be ready for fire mission. All call signs, this is Howitzer. We're firing 1 round at the south of town, 1 round south of town AO. Confirm no friendlies? Okay, you're clear to fire.
Okay, so when we're firing, is it best just to look in the original position, or do we have to go down the scope or anything like that?
Just look in the original position because it's not going to change. Fire now. Boom. Okay, now after about 3 or 4 rounds, you'll want to check your the other position again. You'd want to open the menu, and then just check to make sure everything's still lined up nicely.
Ah, right, so does it, because right now I can see the bubble is off center.
Yep,
So
it
does it
will
do
be.
that after rounds?
Now you can change it now already if you see it. It's just that sometimes you don't really have time. You'll be firing, loading, firing, loading, firing, loading, firing, and then you'd only do it after about 3 rounds.
Ah, right, fair enough, mate.
It's an area effect weapon, so it's never going to be as precise as any sniper fire, and we just live with that. Make sure there's no friendlies nearby.
No, that's fair enough, mate.
Sometimes you can get lucky as well if they spread out a little bit, you can get some good hits. Now, say for some reason you've got one left or you packed it wrong, it can happen. If you ace interact with the shell, you can prepare the shell again or repack it into the crate. So say you get called off on your last mission, you had everything ready to go, and then they say negative, hold fire, then you can just repack them all if you want, and you haven't wasted them.
That's fair enough, mate. So quite interesting. It's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, you get used to it pretty quickly. And you can kind of start making it, more harder on yourself and more realistic and try to do it faster every time, so it's quite challenging. I enjoy it.
suppose it's all about, the routine of it all.
Exactly. And it's also about accuracy as well. You just gotta, make sure you're good with your grids, get the altitude off the map. It's way too easy when the FO comes in with his Factor 21 and gives you the most accurate altitude and grid you could ever imagine. It's almost too easy. It's more fun to take it off the map, especially when you start with the radio tower. That's the one you can always pick off without the forward observer.
So generally, it's on the site. It's a 4-man team. Is that correct?
It should be, yes.
Okay.
You've got the forward observer in the field and 3 guys here. You'll have 1 guy on the gun, 1 guy preparing the shells, and 1 guy doing the calculations.
Ah, cool. Okay.
I think the 119 it's great fun to do, but it's a great step up to mortars, which I think are even cooler, because with mortars you actually have to use your brain and do your own calculations. You don't have a computer doing it for you.
No computer doing everything.
Exactly. You sit there with a little calculator and start doing Pythagoras and cosinus and stuff like that. It was great.
Oh, so I'll need to buy a notepad.
Yes, invest in pen and paper.
Oh, that's cool, Nick. Cheers, man.
Yeah, no problems. I mean, you'll probably forget everything in about 5 minutes, but that's no problem. You just got to do it a few times, and every time I'll just run you through it.
No, that's alright, mate. When I do it, I generally record stuff.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you do.
So, wave through the fans.
Oh god.
Don't worry, there's only about 5 of them.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
No, but I think it might be handy to put stuff like this up on the website. Sort of like a know your role video.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
there's guys out there that are much better at it than I am. They'll probably instantly pick out a load of bullshit I just told you, but that's okay. I'm fine with that.
No, man, that's a good introduction. Like I say, I would have come over here before and not even known there was a computer over there or what you need to set or anything like that. So it's all good, Nick.
Now we need to wait for targets.
So have we got a forward observer out there then?
Yep, we do. Alex, he's up on channel 6 with me. You're on channel 5, I believe, which means you are supposed to call the friendlies and tell them we're about to fire. And then the forward observer will be talking to me on channel 6 and giving me all the grids and everything. So normally I'd be in the truck then, with him on channel 6, plotting everything into the computer. You'd be probably I'm not quite sure what your role would be. You'd either be prepping or on the gun, obviously. But you'd tell the friendlies anyway that we're about to fire, and if they have any fire requests, then they might come up on channel 5 as well.
Right, okay, mate.
And the other guy, I don't think, get spawned with a 117, so he'd be without 117. And when a fire mission comes in, the guy in the truck will warn you all, fire mission coming in, and then he'll tell you the general direction. You guys can start aiming out while he takes down the grids and the altitude, plot them in the computer, and then he'll shout out to the guy preparing the rounds what charge you're looking at, what the fuse time is, and he'll be shouting to you what the deflection, the quadrant, and the time of flight is.
Sweet.
And then if it's any huge changes, then the guy prepping the shells can move the gun for you while you still sit on it. Then you can tell him to stop when you have to. I've never actually worked with a full crew on Howitzer. It'll be the first time if someone ever comes in.
Is it normally just like 2 of you and the forward observer?
Yeah, quite often, yeah. A lot of people don't really try it, and then when they try it, they're a little bit afraid that it might be a bit too complicated. And it's a shame, because most people who try it, they really enjoy it.
No, I think it's like, the different roles in the squad. You're always in the mood for one over the others. It's the same
Yeah, that's
with,
true.
pilots and this thing as well, so yeah, it's good to know. Oh,
No,
there we
got
go.
it. RFO finally made it to the AO.
Just in time to see the party.
Good job, Alex.
Was that the first AO?
Yes, it was.
Does he get like a little...
Well, you survived 2 crashes and being shot. I think you're doing pretty well. Shh. Roleplay. Now let's pack these up.
He's got a little moped to get about.
Yeah. Ah, we can go and take out that radio tower. That'll be fun. You need to put a little bit closer to the crate to repack it. So you carry it, take it to the crate, and then you can repack it.
Oh, I've got a weird menu screen that's just come up for self-interaction.
Yeah, self-interaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like load right, elevate, unload left. If I load the little picture icons.
Did you maybe interact on the gun?
I might have done by accident.
Nope, that would be see that. Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's interacting on the gun. Just hit cancel on the right. You'd use that menu quite a lot if you're using mortars, but not so much with howitzer.
Ah, okay.
So,
So what are we doing? Carrying the shell, yeah?
yep, carry the shell over to the crate and then repack, and then we'll hit this radio tower.
Sweet.
Any air unit that's receiving. Any unit that's receiving.
This is Black Hawk, I copy.
I've only got prep artillery rounds, I don't have a repack option.
Yeah, press end carry.
Okay, give me your grid really quick.
Just with the scroll wheel, end carry. There you go. And now if you interact, then you can repack.
Ah, fair enough.
Excellent. Now let's go find this radio tower. Open up your map.
Yep.
That's really close by. So for this one we're going to have to move the gun quite a bit, so we'll do that in a second. Let's first get the grid for the radio tower. If you've got a grid, let me know.
Okay, copy that.
Okay, 130059.
130059?
Is it the Solnichi one? No, that's been captured. Forget
Yeah,
that.
we got that one. We're looking for the next one. It's all the way in the
I'm in
west.
the wrong part of town.
This is Black Hawk to FO.
031082.
Yep, so we're going to need 8-digit grids. We need to get it as accurate as possible. So I'd say that's about 0314
As long as you can.
0824 as well. We'll go for 4. You know the 8-digit grid system?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. So the 031082 box is quite large. It's I think it's 100 meters. Yeah, it's 100 meters by 100 meters.
Okay.
That doesn't sound good.
It's a bit loud.
Yep, sounds like BMP fire, to be honest.
So essentially, we're just putting another 10 grids across the top and sides.
Absolutely, that's what we're doing. Yep, so you divide that up into 10 again. So the dead center of the box would be 0315, 0825, and now we estimate what it is. So it's probably a little bit closer to 0315, 0824 to be honest, but we'll do that. 0315, 0824. Then we need the elevation. You got to just find a number nearby. At the highest zoom rate, it adds 2 meters or detracts 2 meters for every line. So we've got 29 and 9 to the south. We're going to make sure we're going uphill or downhill.
Okay, so we've got that hill from 299 from the south, and we're just adding an extra, what, 100 meters for every line?
No, if you zoom all the way in, you add 2 meters
Oh,
for each
2
line.
meters, okay.
But we've got to make sure we're going uphill. I'm not sure if the radio tower is uphill or downhill. It looks to be
That's
downhill.
uphill, isn't it?
Nope, I think it's downhill. think the radio tower is further downhill than the village.
Well, if that's downhill, there's 7 lines in between. So we're on 14.
Yep. I'm just making sure. Yeah, it's actually going downhill. So that's 299 minus 14, 285.
Good.
So that's 285 meters. Now we can go and put that into the computer. If you jump on the computer, we'll try to take it out with AG.
Give me a second, I'll just get this stuff.
So you have to close the previous fire mission. I don't know what it's left at. It might be closed. And ready tasking. You can add update to new target, and you call it Radio Tower 2, for instance.
How do we close the previous one?
Press back or close mission. There should be an option there.
No, it doesn't even show us being here.
Okay, then try to click back or whatever you can, just go all the way back.
Okay, I'm back at the main screen. Just
There we go. And let's start from scratch. The gun information is in.
Oh no, hang on, town centre is there. Right, gun information, yep.
Joe, you
Okay, so then we can start on the right hand side with add update, put Radio Tower 2 in there.
Are you fucking serious? You shouldn't put ammo in a helicopter.
And type a name.
we
Oh,
were
1
loading
second,
in
I've
a
got radio
machine gun.
chatter here.
Yeah, no problems.
Can you come back?
Yes.
Okay, and what grid did you have?
That was 0315 0824.
And altitudes, how do we judge that? That was the...
We
that
did
was
that on the map.
14, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
we did that on the map. That was 299 minus 14, so that was 285.
Okay.
Then add update, and then click grid. Then we have to fill in the grid again on the top left. So the grid was 0315 0824.
You said we're using HE.
We are using HE, yes.
Okay.
10 rounds.
Is there a fuse timer setting?
Nope, doesn't have one. HE.
Oh, it just landed on impact then.
Yep, point to impact.
Cool. What's
You
the
can-
sheath business?
I am honestly not sure, but it's always on parallel, so leave it there.
Get your ammo now, come on.
I've
Hurry up.
heard someone explain it to me once and I can't for the life remember me.
Black Hole, do you have an ETA?
Q Mike, stand by.
Okay, fire for effect then.
Yep, fire for effect. And we'll start calculating.
Yeah, generate away.
Now this target is considerably closer than our last one, so the charge 8 might not be the best resolution. We'll have to see which one adds to about 1,000 meter quadrant.
Right, okay, mate. So the charge is that the spread of the actual destruction itself?
No, the charge is the amount of added kinetic energy the shell gives. What you do is you pack extra explosive charge on the shell, and it'll make it leave the barrel with a little bit more oomph.
Right, okay.
So the more you put on there, the further and the harder it'll go.
So we don't necessarily need charge 8 because it's really close.
Exactly. You'd have to fire it about 6 clicks up in the air probably, which is not useful because it could have a lot of effects on the shell. You know, you have winds,
Yeah.
you have air flying around. You might even have problems with Coriolis. I'm not sure if that affects artillery, but over an 80-second period, I think the Coriolis might actually affect. And that's the rotation of the Earth. So you fire it up at some point, and the Earth keeps rotating. By the time it comes down, the target's a different place.
Right, okay, yeah. Okay, close mission.
If you've got all the details,
Yeah,
you've written them
10
all down.
valid firing solution.
Okay, so now you need the which charge is closest to 1,000 on quad? Or above 1,000 then?
So it is, let's have a look. Charge 8, quick fuse, deflection 3669, and quad 27.
Quad 27. Now press next a few times. You want a quad to be about 1,000.
$1,121, good.
That'll do. What charge is that?
That's a charge 1.
It's charge 1. Okay, yep, that'll make sense. It's really close. What's the deflection?
Deflection on that one is 3669.
3669. Quadrant was
Quadrant 1121.
1121. Time of flight?
Time of flight 35.
35 seconds. That's all we need for now. That'll do.
Go. Close mission.
Nah,
it
just
back?
escape it for now.
Oh yeah, because that leaves it open.
Yeah, so we can always go back and have a look.
Osprey, whoever wanted their ammo got the Black Hawk shot down, so Osprey's coming on its way now.
I'll prepare the shells. HE was in the middle. You prepare 3, I'll prepare 2.
Sorry mate,
Yep,
what do you want me
that's
to
what
prepare
you
now?
said.
The charge 1, point detonate HE. So this crate in the middle, set them down to charge 1, and then leave the fuse to point detonate. You can see in the drop down menu that you have several options. You can use time, delay, proximity, point detonate. Proximity is quite useful as well. I generally use point detonate for HE. Prep round, you prep 3, I'll prep 2. Make sure every time again you put the charge back down to charge 1. It always default goes back up to charge 8.
Yeah, okay. The hell?
Are they calling anything on channel 5 about a BMP nearby?
Oh, 1 second mate. No, I've got nothing.
They're being engaged by something big out there.
I was just checking to see if my radio was on. Yeah, it's on.
It's not a good sound. So that's the shells ready. Now we can go and prepare the gun. Just put these all over here, makes it easy loading. Now the deflection of the gun was... oh, it should be 3669. Well, south, direct south is 3200. If you pull up your compass, then you'll see the degrees, and outside ring will have some small numbers. Are they readable?
Okay. Yeah, they are.
Okay, so if you look up the general direction of 36, that's 3600.
Oh, okay.
So we want to move the gun to that direction. Now that's quite a way. We're not going to do that with just a little bit of play it has on the axle. We're going to actually have to move the whole thing. If you come and stand behind the gun, actually that's not a great example, but what you see is the gun is slightly offset from the chassis.
Yep.
So once it's in position you can actually fine-tune the targeting and the deflection of the gun, but it's only to a certain extent. You wouldn't be able to adjust it this much. So
Right, okay.
to adjust it, you can just go to the gun now, scroll wheel, and then shift right. And I'll stand behind you with my compass and tell you when to stop moving. And stop. There you go, there you go. With C, you get back off. Sorry, you have to use the crouch button.
I
It's
see, okay.
a little Arma thing. Now you see the importance of the collimeter, because the sight has now completely moved, it's shifted, it's not dead on the axle. So however you line it up now, it's not going to be straight, so it needs to relate to a certain position, which will in this case be this guy here. Now, if I've noticed that the collimeter is slightly offset than it normally is on this map, so I hope it's going to work. If you get on the gun, we'll set it up.
Okay.
It's in the general direction now. So you can set the deflection to 3669.
Yep, done that.
Set the elevation to 1121.
All done.
Okay, level the gun on the bubble.
Sorry, what were we setting deflection to? 3669?
Yes.
Because what's azimuth?
Azimuth is... I can't actually tell you the difference between azimuth and deflection, but azimuth on the computer is actually the same number as the deflection, and azimuth as a word basically means the width, so I would expect it to be the same as the compass, but honestly, I can't tell you what it means in this context.
No worries, man. Do. 1 second. Okay, yep.
Okay, now you need to change the view.
Oh, have we got to adjust the bubble first?
Oh, okay, yeah, you do need to adjust the bubble.
How do we set it so I'm not just scrolling through this menu? Because every time I'm pressing up and down, it's just going through the deflection and elevation.
Click the elevation once and then click it back down and then see if the arrow keys work. Oh, sorry, yeah, you are actually changing the bubble there, don't worry. It's just an indication that your arrow keys are working. You are actually changing the bubble. If the buttons are being highlighted as you do it, it's fine.
Oh, it's just not moving the bubble, that's all.
That's because you're using very small increments. If you hold shift, you should. If the bubble's on the right, you have to use the up button. If the bubble's on the left, then use the down button, the down arrow. There you go, now you're moving it quite a lot.
Still not moving on my screen though.
The gun is, where's the bubble?
Far right.
Far right, you're gonna have to shift and press up. There you go. It'll jump suddenly.
Oh yeah, I just did that.
There you go. And then when you let go of shift, you can then use the fine tuning.
Okay, all done, buddy.
Excellent. Now change view. And look for this little colorimeter again.
It's always on the left, isn't it?
No, it's not always on the left, but it probably is in this case. Let me know when you see me.
Yeah, I'm at it now. I've lined up to 10 and 50 and 5, which is on there.
Excellent. You can see something.
Nick.
Was it on the left of you?
Yeah, it was on the left.
You
Yeah, it
see
was.
sometimes the numbers can actually reverse. So if, for instance, now the number on the right is higher than the number on the left,
Oh, that
then
should
you'd
be
have
on
to have the
other side.
crosshair to the left of it. But I'm
Right,
sure of
okay.
that.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, I was waiting 15 minutes for an extract and they didn't bother coming, so I just had to Alt F4, come back in again.
Jeez, that was nice, isn't
See
it?
if I'll actually be able to make it to the AO this time, so I'm starting to get it.
Yeah, but the area was really close, so you could probably run. I've already heard a whole bunch of healers get engaged by BMP fire as soon as they take off. I mean, it's literally 1.5 click from here. We're going to have a crack at the radio tower. Okay, so if you get off the sites, I'll have a quick check, and then we should be good to fire.
All yours?
Thank you. You can call out on channel 5 to all call signs that we're going to do a fire mission on the radio tower, 5 rounds HE, and if they have any friendlies in the vicinity.
This is Osprey, we're RDB and we can.
Yeah, Roger Osprey, are you able to swap to the Benham and take me into the AO?
I can take you into the area with an Osprey.
Okay. Yeah, if you want, I'll meet you at the ammo crate.
All fire teams, be advised this is Howitzer crew. We're about to start fire mission on second radio tower. Advise if you've got any friendlies in the area.
If they're quiet for 5 seconds, that's good enough for me.
Howitzer team fire mission beginning, 5 HE rounds. Okay, mate.
Okay, you can get on the gun, I'll load, you can just fire.
Sounds like a plan.
Loading. Clear to fire. Just call fire when you do.
Okay, mate. All ready and fire.
Loading.
All loaded.
Yep.
Okay, fire.
Loading. As soon as you see the numbers go green at the top right of your screen, you're good to fire. Just shout fire.
Cool. Fire away.
Loaded. Last shell, loaded.
Confirm, firing last shell.
It's great, you can actually hit him, come back.
So I'd assume that normally with your forward observer out there, after each hit he'd give you a bit of a feedback where it's landing, so you can adjust.
Yeah, normally you'd only do one barrage at a time, so like we do now, you'd let the 5 land first, because sometimes you can have just one
Oh,
or two of them
destroyed.
bump off. There you go, excellent job. Digital high five.
Nice.
There you go, that's how you do it.
Oh,
So
that's
what you
cool.
do is you'd let the first 5 land first, and then the observer will tell you what direction you're going at. Unless you're actually getting close to friendlies, then he'll cause a ceasefire. But you'd let the first 5 land first, and then get like an average, because some of them can just move out a bit further than the others.
Right, okay, that's fair enough, mate.
So now we wait for them to call targets. We've done all we can for now.
Get to chill.
Taking out the radio tower will really help them, because then they won't get as much reinforcements from the OPFOR.
I don't know why more people don't, give this a go.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a real challenge when you have a full team. You probably saw on the forums today, there's a bunch of guys now setting up the Howitzer Olympics.
Yeah, I saw
It's
that.
who can do the fastest, and that's it makes it pretty fun.